Don't try a GLP-1 until you've tried this first. You might be asking questions like, is a GLP-1 right for me? Is this something that might be helpful? Can medications like Ozempic help me drink less, help me have more cravings? And here's my breakdown on GLP-1s, what they do, and how we can use food to actually activate the mechanisms that GLP-1s work through. Hey, it's me, Dr. Brooke. Welcome back to the Dr. Brooke Scheller Show. And hey, if you found yourself questioning if you should be taking a GLP-1, you are not alone. As of this recording in March 2026, about 3 in 10 adults, or 29% of people in the US, have expressed trying them or wanting to try them, with about 1 in 8 reporting taking them. So you've probably heard of the GLP-1s, you're probably asking yourself if you should be taking one, and I'm not gonna lie, as a doctor of nutrition, even the thought crossed my mind, maybe I should try this for market research. Don't fret, I didn't do it, but I want to tell you my thoughts on GLP-1s, especially because they are now being discussed in regard to lowering alcohol cravings, lowering possible alcohol use disorder, and also for cravings as a whole. The marketing is good. Maybe it's too good. In fact, if many of us who are of average weight are starting to think if we should be taking an intense medication like a GLP-1, when do we start slipping into that category of things being too good to be true? This is essentially the magic pill or magic shot, if you will, that we have been looking for millennia. Think back to the 90s and early 2000s. I remember the Slim Fast shakes, the fat burning pills. We're always on to this next new thing that's going to help us maintain and sustain our weight. And in this case, forget making nutrition changes or exercising or portion control or changing your dietary habits. Instead, you can just take a pill for that, no problem. And what I liken it to is, if we think about AI and the world of technology that we're in today, GLP-1s are almost my AI. I almost wish they didn't exist, and not because they aren't life-saving and helpful for so many people, but because they're taking away some of the magic behind health and wellness. We are sacrificing potentially some other parts of the body for this specific medication that is focused specifically on weight loss. So what is a GLP-1? Now, if you've been living under a rock and you haven't heard much about the GLP-1s, GLP-1 stands for glucagon-like peptide 1. And this is a class of medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, Zepbound, and these were originally designed for the management of type 2 diabetes, and some of them are actually now also FDA approved to specifically target weight loss. And while these original medications were in the form of injections, we're starting to see the development and the evolution of these, in that Wegovy recently released a pill version, which is really gaining a lot of traction and attention. And they've really become the next new trend in online telemedicine, and what I like to call self-prescription. So instead of booking an appointment with your doctor, going in and having a discussion on your health history, the risks and rewards in your situation, you can now go online and have a quick call with a practitioner, complete a short intake, and have a GLP-1 shipped to your door. So it bypasses this route, and it's making this easier for us to obtain without going through the normal checkpoints that we might have to go through otherwise. Now, I'm a huge proponent of everyone's body being individualized. Nothing is right for everyone, but this is something that I really believe, because of the side effects, because of some of the risks and concerns, that you want to talk to your doctor and figure out if this is something right for you to take, regardless of the reason that you want to use it, whether that is for weight loss purposes, whether that is for reducing alcohol cravings, reducing hunger, or any of the other reasons that they are recommended. So let's talk about how GLP-1s work. Now, GLP-1 is a hormone that is produced in the gut after we eat, and it helps to regulate fullness, it decreases our appetite, it also helps to regulate digestion. And GLP-1 is produced as the result of our microbiome. The bacteria in our gut can actually play a role in how much GLP-1 we produce and how effective it is. GLP-1 helps to regulate blood sugar, it helps to slow stomach emptying and contributes to feelings of fullness. It also influences dopamine signaling in the brain, and dopamine is our pleasure reward center, and it helps to reduce the feelings of reward that are associated with food. A lot of folks taking them talk about how it reduces what's called food noise and that kind of constant thought of food going on throughout the day. So of course, this helps people eat less, crave less, and feel less desire toward food overall. Are these medications right for everybody? We even have people like Serena Williams, an Olympic athlete, now advertising them. And I should note that I'm not against GLP-1s. I think these are life-saving medications, especially for people with obesity and associated health concerns. And I think in the right setting, these medications alongside help from your doctor can be absolutely transformative. In the right settings, in the right situations, they are so very helpful. However, where I think things are getting sticky nowadays is that we're mass marketing these for the sake of weight loss. And we're really unclear about the long-term impacts that they might have on the body. Weight loss is, of course, a category that has always been of great interest to people, especially in the United States. And we're now taking that pain point for many people and creating this mass market solution. So before you go and grab a GLP-1, I want to talk to you about some of the side effects and help you consider if these are right for you. We're also now discussing them along with potential to support substance use disorders and certain studies citing that they can help with decreasing alcohol use, decreasing alcohol cravings, and may even be helpful for those trying to stop opioids and nicotine. The jury is still debating on this research, and up till now, these are not FDA approved for these uses, but we will talk more on that later. Now let's talk about some of the side effects. I want you to be informed before trying these medications, and I want you to know that there are alternate solutions to them. And if you truly have struggled with weight loss or weight management in the past, I suggest seeing a functional nutritionist, a functional doctor, someone that might be able to look deeper into things like hormone imbalances, gut microbiome imbalances. Again, GLP-1 is produced in the gut, so we need to make sure first and foremost that we have a healthy gut. So there are a lot of other reasons why you may have struggled with weight loss or weight management, and potentially working with an expert in functional health can help you get to the root of it. So from where I sit as a doctor of nutrition, I hear all the horror stories of using GLP-1s. Most of the clients that I have worked with who have used them have come to me after using them and really struggled as the result of some health concerns that popped up because of their use. Now, I have worked with people who've had any number of issues, things just simply like dehydration or appetite being too low, to a lot of digestive effects, so reflux or heartburn, ongoing constipation, loose bowel movements, even to vomiting and nausea that is debilitating, that is an ongoing problem even after stopping these medications. Again, because they're influencing these hormones that influence our brain and influence our digestion, they can have these long-term effects even after stopping their use. There are also more serious consequences like increased risk of pancreatitis, kidney issues, and the big one, decreased muscle mass. This creates a lot of concerns about the sustainability of long-term weight loss. Now, some people report worsening anxiety, depression, flat affect, and even suicidal ideation. And this is based on the changes to dopamine that are happening due to the medication. One study showed that patients on GLP-1s exhibited a 195% higher risk of major depression, a 108% increased risk for anxiety, and a 106% elevated risk for suicidal behavior. These are significant, and it's something worth exploring if you have mood or mental health concerns. And then, of course, a lot of discussion is going on around gaining weight back after discontinuing use. Because this medication helps with weight loss, it doesn't just target fat, it can also target muscle loss. And this is a big issue because that means while we're taking a GLP-1, it can not only be lowering our stores of fat, but also changing our store of muscle. This can change our body composition, it can break down some of that healthy muscle, and this creates concern when it comes to long-term weight loss sustainability. This means that while you're taking a GLP-1, it is absolutely imperative to be consuming high amounts of protein, to be performing weight training exercise at least a few times per week, and doing these to help combat muscle loss. How to use the GLP-1 mechanism to overcome cravings. So whether our goal is weight loss, cravings management, decreasing alcohol, or anything else, we can use insights from how these GLP-1s work to support the same pathways without needing to take a medication. What we can learn from them is more about the mechanisms of how they work, like supporting blood sugar regulation, supporting our natural GLP-1 production, and even supporting our brain's neurotransmitters. So number one, the GLP-1s help to regulate blood sugar. But we can also regulate our own blood sugar by increasing our protein intake, having more consistent meal times throughout the day, and even having breakfast first thing when we wake up. Having breakfast within an hour or so of waking up, and then having something to eat every 3 to 4 hours is a great way to keep blood sugar more stable, to keep cravings at bay, and to keep that ongoing feeling of fullness. GLP-1s also influence the gut microbiome. But here's the good news. We can support the natural production of GLP-1 and increase our fullness and satiety by increasing our fiber intake. You know, one of the things that we're seeing in a lot of the discussion around low carb, keto, and even GLP-1 nutrition plans, they're notorious for not getting enough fiber. They can contribute to changes in our digestive system and kind of keep us stuck in not feeling well. So what I want you to do is aim for 25 to 35 grams of fiber per day from plant-based foods like your veggies, your fruits, your whole grains. And you can also introduce a psyllium husk supplement. This is especially helpful if you experience constipation on a regular basis, and this is going to help not only regulate your digestion, but it's also going to help feed the healthy microbes in the gut so that they can produce more GLP-1. And GLP-1s also support dopamine levels. Now we can do this with our own food and nutrition by keeping our protein focus nice and high, specifically adding in fish, eggs, almonds, and chicken. We can focus on vitamin B rich foods, so many of our plants, but also animal foods as well, and also considering a B vitamin supplement if you haven't tried it before. Also, keeping alcohol at bay is going to help regulate dopamine and dopamine signaling in the brain. You can also take into consideration more movement, more hydration, less stress, and all of the other important points that we talk about when it comes to a healthy weight. So stay tuned for next week because I'm going to be covering a video in more depth, specifically around alcohol cravings, decreased cravings in general. So stay tuned and check back next week for that. Now don't forget to like and subscribe. Paid subscribers will also get access to an anti-GLP-1 nutrition plan coming this weekend, and this will include different foods, supplements, and tools that you can use to help naturally boost your body's GLP-1 production and support the mechanisms that lower cravings and boost metabolism. Let me know your thoughts, experiences, and questions on GLP-1s in the comments, and stay tuned for part 2 next week. I'll see you there.